Have you ever felt a deep clarity while walking through a quiet forest or a secluded beach? There's a timeless connection between walking and thinking, a rhythm that matches our steps with our thoughts. In video games, this experience is captured by a unique game genre called walking simulators. But as new as these games might seem, they reflect a long-held philosophy. Over 2000 years ago in the lively city of Athens, the Peripatetic School founded by Aristotle used walking as an important way to learn and think. Join me as we explore the meeting point of digital worlds and ancient paths, discovering how walking simulator and the peripatetic tradition both use the power of movement to deepen our understanding of the world and ourselves. We'll look into the game design along the way, seeing how these interactive experiences engage players mentally and emotionally. Walking simulators appeared in early 2010s, challenging traditional video games by removing complex controls, fighting, and sometimes even clear goals. Instead, they invite players into immersive worlds where exploring and storytelling are the main focus. From a game design viewpoint, walking simulators are interesting because they blend the study of games as rule-based systems and as ways to tell stories. They put storytelling first, offering a unique form of interactive narrative. Take Dear Esther, often seen as a pioneer of the genre, set on a lonely island in the Hebrides. The game skips traditional gameplay in favor of a poetic story told through fragmented monologues. As you wander the island's rough landscapes, the story unfolds non-linearly, allowing personal interpretation and emotional connection. In Gone Home, you play Caitlin Greenbrier, who is returning to an empty family home after a year abroad. By carefully exploring the house's room, drawers, and hidden spaces, you piece together the personal stories of your family members. This game is a great example of environmental storytelling, where the surroundings tells the story, engaging players to interpret what they find actively. These games turn walking into a storytelling tool, where every step offers a chance to discover something new. The environments are rich with details that rewards curiosity, like letters, photos, subtle changes in lines and sounds, all designed to draw you deeper into the story. By slowing down the pace and removing typical gameplay distractions, walking simulators create space for reflection. They encourage players to be present, to absorb the atmosphere, and to engage with the story on a personal level. This aligns with the idea of immersion in game design, the deep mental involvement players feel when fully engaged with the game's world and story. This focus on exploration over action allows walking simulators to tackle complex, often mature themes. Games like What Remains of Edith Finch explore family histories and mortality, while The Beginner's Guide delves into creativity, mental health, and the relationship between the artist and the audience. From a gameplay standpoint, walking simulators challenge traditional ideas of what makes a game. They often lack goals, obstacles, or ways to win, prompting discussions about the nature of interactivity and player choice. Yet it is simple design that creates a different kind of engagement, one that is thoughtful and emotionally meaningful. In essence, walking simulators offer a unique form of interactive storytelling that uses movement to build a deeper connection between the player and the story. They expand the possibilities of game design, showing how simplicity in mechanics can lead to rich experiences. To understand the roots of walking as a means to think deeply, we travel back to the ancient Greece, a center of philosophy and learning. In 335 BCE, Aristotle founded the Lyceum in Athens, creating what became known as the Peripatetic School. The word peripatetic comes from the Greek, meaning to walk about. Unlike other philosophical schools, Aristotle thought while walking with his students. This wasn't just a practical choice, but a deliberate teaching method. Aristotle believed that walking helped people think and learn better. The physical act of moving stimulates the mind, allowing ideas to flow more freely. As they strolled through the Lyceum's shaded paths, their discussions covered ethics, politics, biology, and more. This method encouraged an active exchange of ideas. Instead of passively receiving knowledge, students were active participants, asking questions, engaging in dialogues, and challenging assumptions. The changing scenery and rhythms of walking provided a natural backdrop for thought and debate. This approach reflected Aristotle's beliefs that knowledge comes mainly from sensory experience. By observing the world around them as they walked, students could gain insights from nature, society, and their environment, grounding philosophical ideas in real world observations. In the context of games, this is similar to how players engage with walking simulators. The games invite players to actively interpret and find meaning in their experiences. Much like the Aristotle students gathered knowledge from their surroundings, both involve the idea that our physical experiences influence our thinking. The Peripatetic School shows how physical movement can be connected to intellectual growth, a concept that resonates with the experience offered by walking simulators today. It highlights the lasting relationship between movement, environment, and thought. One of the most powerful features of walking simulators is their use of environmental storytelling, a technique where the environment tells a story without relying only on dialogue or text. Every detail from the placement of objects to the background sounds is carefully designed to tell a story. In his publication, Harry Jenkins explained environmental storytelling as environmental storytelling creates the preconditions for an immersive narrative experience by embedding narrative information within the game's mise-en-scène, where the embedded narrative information waits for discovery from the players. In game design, environmental storytelling is about how game spaces communicate narrative and meaning. It relies on players' ability to explore, observe, and interpret, making them an active part of the storytelling process. In Gone Home, the empty house feels like a character itself. As you explore, you find clues about your sister's secret relationship, your parents' struggles, and family dynamics. A ticket stub, a crumbled note, a misplaced book all becomes pieces of a larger puzzle, allowing you to rebuild the story through careful observation. Similarly, What Remains of Edith Finch uses the family's large, quaker home to explore themes of fate and family curses. Each room becomes a snapshot of a family member's life and ultimately death, presented through imaginative and surreal sequences that blur the line between reality and memory. Environmental storytelling engages players on a deeper level. It requires active participation, not just moving through the space but interpreting the significance of what you find. This process mirrors the observational method used by Aristotle and the Peripatetic School. From a game design perspective, this technique uses affordances, the possibilities for action that objects and environments offer. By carefully designing spaces and objects, developers guide players towards certain interpretations while leaving room for personal meaning. This approach to storytelling allows for rich, layered narratives that can be deeply personal. Each player may interpret the story differently based on what they notice, how they find things, and their perspectives. Using environmental storytelling, walking simulators create immersive worlds that feel alive and authentic. They turn virtual spaces into rich tapestries of meaning, where every corner holds the potential for discovery. This aligns with how game design explores interactivity and player choice in creating narrative experiences. One of the main ideas shared by walking simulators and the peripatetic traditions is the focus on the journey rather than the destination. Often these games have no clear endpoint or traditional win condition. The value lies in the experience of moving through the world, soaking in the atmosphere, and uncovering the story at your own pace. In game design, this challenges traditional ideas of gameplay that prioritize goal, achievements, and progress. Walking simulators embrace open-ended play, where the player's experience is shaped by exploration and personal engagement rather than external rewards. In Firewatch, the story unfolds over a summer in the Wyoming wilderness. As Henry, a fire lookout, you explore the vast isolated environment, forming a relationship with your supervisor Delilah through radio conversations. The game's pacing allows you to enjoy the natural beauty, reflect on Henry's struggles, and delve into the themes of escape and connection. Similarly, Everybody's Gone to the Rapture places you in a small English village where all the peoples have mysteriously vanished. The game offers no immediate answer or objectives. Instead, you piece together the events leading up to the rapture by exploring the village and experiencing fragmented memories left behind. The slow pace encourages reflection on themes like humanity, faith, and the unknown. This focus on the journey aligns with Aristotle's belief that understanding and wisdom comes from continuous inquiry and experience. The peripatetic method valued the process of physical and intellectual exploration as a means to gain deeper insight. From a game design standpoint, this approach emphasizes flow, a state of immersion where players lose track of time because they are deeply engaged in activity. By allowing players to set their own pace and paths, walking simulators facilitate a personalized flow experience. By prioritizing the journey, walking simulators challenge the usual expectations of gameplay. They invite players to thoughtfully slow down, observe, and engage with the game world. The lack of urgency or external pressure allows for a more personal and introspective experience. This philosophy also connects to the broader life lessons. It reminds us that growth and fulfillment often comes from our experiences, not just reaching a specific goal. In walking simulators and the peripatetic tradition, our path shapes our understanding, making moving through the world a meaningful endeavor. By looking at walking simulators through the lens of Peripatetic School and game design, we find a bridge between ancient wisdom, modern innovation, and the thoughtful analysis. Despite the vast differences in time and technology, both use walking to explore complex ideas, emotions, and stories. This connection highlights several key lessons. Firstly, it shows the lasting power of movement to encourage thought and learning. Walking through the light sim or navigating a virtual world engages the mind uniquely, promoting reflection, creativity, and insight. Secondly, it emphasizes the importance of observing and engaging with our surroundings. The peripatetics and walking simulator players find meaning by close attention to the world around them, the natural world, or a careful crafted digital environment. Thirdly, it challenges us to rethink our relationship with technology. Walking simulators demonstrate that video games can be more than just entertainment. They can be art forms that provoke thought, evoke emotions, and contribute to the personal growth. This aligns with how game design explores games as cultural works that reflect and shape societal values. Finally, this exploration invites us to embrace the journey over the destination in our own lives. It reminds us to value our experiences, lessons, and connections rather than focusing only on end goals. From a game design perspective, walking simulators push the boundaries of interactive media. They invite us to think critically about what games can be, how they affect players, and how they can connect with other fields like philosophy, psychology, and art. The intersection of walking simulators, the peripatetic tradition, and game design shows that some ideas are timeless. They cross over times and mediums, speaking to fundamental aspects of the human experience. As we continue to innovate and expand the possibilities of technology and storytelling, we can draw inspirations from the past and insight from thoughtful study. Combining ancient wisdom with modern creativity and analysis open new possibilities for learning, expression, and connection. Walking simulators and the peripatetic tradition reveals a timeless truth that movement is more than a way to get from one place to another. It's a path for thought, a spark for discovery, and a bridge between the physical and the spiritual. Through the lens of game design, we see how these interactive experiences engage players on mental and emotional levels, challenging our ideas about games and their potential impact. As we navigate virtual and real-world paths, we take part in a journey that crosses geographical, temporal, and even technological boundaries. We became part of a line of explorers and thinkers who understand that every step holds the potential for revelation. So whether you are wandering through a digital landscape or walking down a quiet street, remember that each journey is an opportunity to observe, reflect, and connect with the world meaningfully. Thank you for watching this video. If this video has sparked your curiosity or offered new perspectives, I invite you to subscribe, like this video, and ring the bell for future videos. I hope to see you in the next one.